Hello everybody. Um, I promised yesterday I will do a video, but I worked with a lot of people yesterday. I was so busy. I probably worked from 8 o'clock till almost late afternoon, and I had to take off a nap because there's so much is going on. Also today, a lot of the people they're kind of like a hung up, close up. Anytime where the moon joins Saturn in the sky, we are closing up. We don't want to talk to nobody. We want to go ahead and close ourselves up instead of looking at the parts that are inside of us and open up for the others. There was a question brought it in yesterday over the YouTube with a request to make a video. And that video probably is going to be a little bit longer. There's going to be a lot of things, a lot of advices, a lot of things that we do as a community, as a Twin Flames, and how we actually help each other. Big part that you guys don't know is that during the events, I help and I work with each Twin Flame one-on-one, and I'm looking at inside of them on a subconscious level what they need, what are they stuck, what are they missing, what the gap is, and I help him out. I give him an energy, I give him a part of information to connect the dots so they can feel better. I see this part inside of them that works so much. On every event I've been into, each event was kind of like a mixed up, but all the events they had their own energy, their own focus. For example, the Argentina event, that was the very first one. That event for Twin Flame was to come out and open. That is the event that people came out and they wanted to have inner transformation. They wanted to have some changes. And this is the part when actually I begin. This is the trip that I begin to honor the Twin Flame inside of me. Also, I went out to honor my Twin Flame with that trip. I didn't charge nobody money. I didn't ask for any money when I was in Argentina. Actually, I went out pay for the conference room. It was out of my own pocket of it compared to the workshops that we created later on in Chicago. Chicago was a great event. Chicago was a awesome event because there we were so many people that we brought it in. That was actually step up for all the facilitators, all the public speakers for the Twin Flames, whereas they came in together, and that's kind of like bring everything up. From that event, Rob and Angie actually they grow up. They made the event in Banff that we just came in. Um, the Chicago event was great with the part of exposing more the Twin Flames out in the public. Boston was a very good event because in Boston we begin to more to the more to the profound part as the speakers, more as the focus on the professional way into it. But each one of the events has its own stuff. Like for example, Banff had the part that a lot of the people had the fear to face themselves in the mirror. The mirror challenge was great because some of the people they did it and they did good, they did great. The upcoming event actually in Italy is gonna be the way I feel. It's gonna be doing with what I am going to talk about right now. That's actually what we are. This is actually in more profound medical way and more informations about. I already made that video a while back for the mirroring neurons. That's the study that it's done of what's going on, what's the situation inside of us. But it's different when someone just look at the medical stuff. They don't look at the psychology part that it comes with it as a twin flame. So the question that was asked over the YouTube was it is, Dio, can you please do a video on why the life of a twin flame in general is so difficult? Yes, our life is so difficult because before we getting ignited as a soul, before the mirroring neurons getting activated between you and your twin flame, this is the part when the vibrations inside of the brain, they have the same length, the same frequency. This is the part when they become you and you become them. It is hard. It is hard to you to believe that someone out there is exactly wired and exactly wired like you in the brain. You have this uh, part inside of them, but that it's also involved enormous love, like something it's out of this world. That is the connection with the universe. That is the connection with God. And that love, just to out there for everybody, the love cannot be ignited by one person. It's not a one-way street. The love, it's ignited between two individuals, and during that ignitions of love, the exchange between them controls the stuff. This exchange can happen on a sexual level. That is the part when you like the person, typically strongly, physically, sexually. You just like it and you have that sexual vibrations with them. As soon as you see them, you are ready. You don't need anything, you are ready. There is also a connection that is into the heart. You see them, you just feel good around them. You want to have them, you want to share everything with them, you want to be with them. That is the part within the heart. But what it's so difficult to be a twin flame, it's when you get ignite that power of love within the soul. And this is the part of the mirroring neurons, which is how I'm going to be talking to you right now. It seems like we face difficulty in everything. Can you please share your knowledge about this with us? Yes, we do face difficulties in everything. All the time when the twin flame comes in, you destroyed everything that you know, because everything that you know, it's a base of someone trying to tell you how to live, when to live, and everybody tells you what you're supposed to be feeling and what you're supposed to do, what you should not do. But when everything comes in with that kind of connections inside of your soul, all this, it goes away. And now you feel the damage that has been done to you. And you begin to rewrite everything inside of you as a twin flame of the part that you basically demolishing your old life. And a lot of the people have issues with the part of let go. They don't understand that they have to let go of their old life. The new life inside of them is brewing. The new life inside of them calling them every night. The new life is something that's changing for better. I mean, people who are actually admit and commit, they're out in the twin flame, they're probably suffering a lot. But also what happening is that those people, they're very courageous. I mean, I see some people who right now they're suffering, they're hiding themselves, they stay in the shadow, they don't commit that they're twin flames, but they all confess to me. For them, I'm a confessor. For them, I am the one who gives them everything. I have people who confessing to me that happened to them 20, 30 years ago. And it's hard. It's not easy for us to live like this. We're not a different people. We are just working with something that the average people don't even want to. We work with vibration, we work with love, we work with compassion, we live with truth. What happens in twin flames is the twin flames working on the journey to become their truth. And that part of becoming living as the truth, it bugs people. they cannot do what we do. They cannot go ahead and say what it's inside of them. They have a fears. And the other half of the twin flames, they live in fear. Why? Because for them, they have to focus on working on themselves. It's hard for us because we have to deal with a lot of things. Twin flames are dealing primarily with the age gap. We dealing with ego. We dealing with a lot of religion based, culture wise. Another huge thing that is there is a race. People, when you are from different part of the world, they have a hard time accepting each other. Maybe I'm ashamed out of luck, but I'm kind of like almost pretty much the whole thing. I have it. Especially if you're a different culture and different language, then the stories become even worse of it. But what is the twin flames? Why do we have this life? Why do we coming out in the public and do all this? So I make a little presentation. Hope this will help the people on it. What is the mirroring neurons? The mirroring neurons, those are actually, if you look at it through the DNA, those are the neurons there inside of the brain, which is they basically sleep. They're not awakened. Those neurons, they are actually the one that you mirroring others. You mirroring what others do. There was a study that was done into it. There was scans of a brain that has been done to it. If you're so interesting, you can go ahead and you can Google mirroring neurons studies and go ahead and do it on your own. What happens is when the twin flames meet together, they hit each other, the two frequencies between them begins to open. 99% of the twin flames, for them, they say the light came from the one twin into another, and this is how they wake up. It's like everything light up inside of their eyes, and they felt this oneness, they felt this love, they felt this incredible bliss inside of them for each other. And both twin flames feel that part. But over the time, the twin flames, they trying to fight for the control of the connection, because one of the twin has its own life, the other twin has its own life, and they have the battles of the ego, which is later on I will say. But those mirroring neurons, this is the part that actually connects the twin flames together. They have the same frequency into the brains where the soul it actually lives, the soul part of it. But what are those mirroring neurons are? The mirroring neurons is when we watch other doing, feeling something, neuron fire patterns that would fire if we were doing the action or having feeling ourselves, which is that's what the empath. You feel what the other people feel. And those neurons are referred as mirror neurons, and they fire only on reflective actions or feeling of other. What happened with the twin flames is when those neurons get fired, we begin to do the exchange between the two individuals, and during those exchange, the one person begins to live with the other inside, but they live information. So if this is the feminine and this is the masculine lives the masculine energy inside the feminine, and the feminine lives the energy inside the masculine. Now those both two individuals, they have to unite that part of feminine masculine inside of them. So is this person has to do the feminine and the masculine within themselves. So the one becomes the chaser, the other one becomes the runner, and that begins the whole journey of how they have to focus on themselves so they can become the truth. They have to accept the differences between them. And it's the very hard part of understanding is the differences. Difference can be on all the other levels. They can be on culture, language, age, religion. It could be on so many things, merit, unmerit, whatever the situation might be. And this is why it's so hard, because you have to dealing with so many things. It's not a one thing into it. Oh, the hardest part right here, that will be the grief. The grief comes in into that is love, that it's pointing out, but have no exchange. You send the love to the one person, it doesn't matter how much love you can send it. They're blocked. They're blocking everything. Their ego blocking that love, and until they figure it out down the road that that was the love that they were seeking all their life inside. But that can take years. For some of the twin flames takes 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Depends of how much the resilience the person has, how much the culture of whatever the situation is of it. Another part that it's hard is that is a who the twin flames they're hanging out with. What do they do with it? There is a lot of influence, specifically with the age gap. I have cases when he's younger, 20 years, and she's in 40s, and they both admit the connection is there. They both understand the connection is there, but they comes in and they say, "I'm lost. I don't know. I can't go ahead and I don't know. I'm run away from you." Uh, the younger one runs away from the older one, but then when I hanging out with my friends, I don't fit there. I don't resonate there. I don't know what is wrong with me. Can you somebody explain this to me? And the part is that exchange of information. The youngest one becomes more wiser. He needs to be solving that issue to solve the differences, as same as the oldest one has to solve the differences inside of it. Because see, when you're 20-year-old, you talking a different lingo. When you are 40 years old, you're talking completely different lingo. The youngest one can say, "I don't want to be with you right now." Now you take it like they don't want to be with you at all. They're just gonna say, "Hey, I'm busy. I have something else to do. I don't want to be with you right now." So there is a lot of misunderstanding of the lingos, the way within the years it's going on. But this is the part, the medical part that has been done and how that going on into it. It's not a something we just made it as a twin flames. We are created. This is something that actually happens between people, but people are afraid to talk. A huge part of suffering and hard part is to live in fear. 90% of the twin flames, they fear. They fear to come out. They fear to say, "I'm my twin flame." But when they say it, they free themselves up, and they begin to live more happy instead of living in stagnation and living in fear of it. So, this is actually illustrations of the mirroring neuron. This is the time when the lights are fired up between the two. This is basically the microcosmos inside of us. This is the part that inside of us we begin to learn new things, we begin to create new things, we begin to understand new things. The human capabilities of forced knowledge, which is you actually to train yourself and you can read, study, and completely understand something, it's about 10%. The 90% of the brain usually it's not used during a human life. So there is something that we don't use. But when the mirroring neuron comes in, we begin to open that part of more than over the 10%. And this is why it's hard for us, because We're trying to tell and trying to express people, we're trying to show people, we're trying to give some information to people, and they don't understand this part of us. They think that we are something's wrong with us. We are crazy, we are cuckoo. There is something not normal with us. We're actually very normal. We want to be a truth. We live in our truth. We say what we say. A lot of the twin flames out there, they have really don't have walls and really don't have filters. They can tell you everything that you want to know without anything. But most of the twin flames, they have challenges to say what they need to say because they live in a society. We live in a society where it's teaching everything to hide. You should not say this. You should not do this. You cannot live on your truth. If you say the truth, they will harm you. They will expel you. If you tell you at work, maybe they can go against you. You should not stop right there. God says, be your truth. And if somebody doesn't accept you as your truth, that's their problem, not yours. You as a twin flame, here an example how to live in your truth. And this is why that will bug a lot of people, because they cannot live on their truth. But you as a twin flame, you're here for this example. And this is why it's so hard on us, we to have a life here. The biggest issue that is about twin flames is this. You cannot be in a relationship, a real relationship, if you don't become real. The mirror neurons, once they fired, they change the informations inside of you. You begin to have different downloads. You begin to rewrite your belief system. You begin to rewrite your action system. And also your body begins to be able to handle the vibrations in the soul. So you as a twin flame, the hardest part is to unite yourself. You to unite your masculine and feminine energy that is during the ignition period exist, and you to become one truth inside of you about your twin. You have to unite yourself before you can be in union with somebody else. You have to love yourself before you love somebody else, because you have to know what love is. You have to be happy for yourself before you are happy with somebody else, because otherwise, if you think that the happiness comes from somebody else, you create dependency. You depend on a person to give you something. In the twin flame, that dependency kind of like hard, because you think that your twin flame should have to come in and rescue, and they're gonna give you all the happiness in the world and everything else. No, actually, what it does is that they already give you the path of you to get united with them. Their energies is all the time inside of you, and this is why you feeling there's something going on with them. But that is a very rare, because during the fixing your issues of it, you will feel like they're inside of you, and you have arguments, you have all this craziness stuff inside of it. But the real part when you're feeling them is when they're actually like a real presence inside of you. And this is the part when, hey, you fixed this. Did you fix that? Or that is the part like, you know what, I don't want to argue anymore. Can we have a peace? Or that is the part when you're missing, specifically with people who are during the night, when they go to bed, when they feel that missing part. Nobody's watching you like they were watching you. You don't have this energy exchange like with nobody else. Even if you try to look at it with others, it's not the same. Something inside of you tells you you cannot do this. You cannot cheat on your twin flame. A lot of the questions, a lot of the situation is hard, because we have to dealing with more than what average person deal with. And this is why it's very hard for us as a twin flame to do it. But when you do your inner work, when you accept yourself as who you are, when you accept your twin as who they are, the life begins more easier. The life begins more happier inside of it. You begin to go out and do a mission. You go out there and help other twin flames. You begin to understand more and more of what's going on your journey as a twin flame. So this part right here is that uniting the things inside of you. You have to unite your soul, you have to unite your heart, you have to unite your body. If you haven't seen the mirror challenge, that's what the mirror challenge is. It helps you to work on this, because that's what you go into it. A lot of the people asking you, well, Dio, when you know the things, why you're not in a union with your twin flame? You need to understand every journey is different. You need to also understand you cannot control your twin flame. You can't. There is a divine time. When you unite everything yourself and you unite yourself with the divine, then divine will know you're ready. They will work on your twin flame. Whatever the situation is, how the divine wants to handle that situations of the story, that is going to be the lessons the divine wants to show to the world. The whole part of the twin flames is to show how two people from different places, from different backgrounds, with different situations, they have overcome a lot of things in the name of love. So the divine wants to show that yes, the love exists. Be your truth, the love exists. They face this, they're in love. I have a people who are there. She's in her 30s, he's in her 40s. I talked to them, and I told them, you guys probably gonna have a baby. And they're like, I found into it. And a month later, they sent me a text, Dio, how did you know we are going to have a baby? I'm pregnant. It's just a part of the mirroring neurons that we do in exchange as a twin flames. We know things. The psychic readers, that's what they do. They use this mirroring neurons to go ahead and tap into the subconscious, to look at it, what's going on and what other things are. Twin flames are naturally psychic readers. All the twin flames, they have some kind of gift. And exploring that gift will help you to have a better life. To me, that is an astrology, and to me, it's the part when I work with one-on-one with a twin flame in person through the events, to the workshops. I do something very specific that it's helping the twin flames for it. To me, I have the healing power when I hook a person. That is a healing power. Like a lot of the people who have been hugged of it in the events, they're like, oh my gosh, you heal everything inside of me. And this is my power. This is the situation that I do. This is why I go on events. This is why I helping people, and people who really enjoy this part, they get into it. But again, as a twin flames, it's hard. I had to go ahead and be in a relationship with other women instead of my twin flame. And if you think that it's easy on me, try to have a life like me. I don't think so. You're gonna be born for this to take it. So what is the main problem, Dave? Why the situation is? It's the ego. The ego is not who you really are. The ego, it's your self-image. It's your social mask. It's the role you are playing. See, you're playing a role all the time. You're playing a role within a relationship. You're playing a role with work. You're playing a role with your friends. You're playing a role. So you can fit. You can fit in this world by abandoning your own self. Twin flames, when they awaken and they understand the part, they're like, you know what? Screw you. Screw you too. Definitely screw you too. Because that doesn't resonate with the soul. And this is how a lot of the twin flames, they destroy their life. They destroy everything that the ego builds in order they can have a better life. Your social mic thrives on approval. It wants control and sustained by power. because it lives in fear. 99.9% of the twin flames will not come together because of the fear of the truth. And this is why a lot of the twin flames have issues, and this is why it's so hard, because the fear, it's always been an issue for the twin flames. I've been talking to twin flames that been united. All of a sudden, they bolt out again. It's like, dear, what's going on? The inner work of the exception is not done. You to accept and you to understand the differences. When you accept each other on all the levels, physical, heart, and a soul, there is no more things. The difference, they become part of you. Now they're not more differences. They're not any more challenges for it. But the biggest part is the ego, because the ego inside changed things of it. William Shakespeare, though, he says this, and that is actually applies so much to the twin flames, and a lot of the people don't understand it. And this is why another reason why it's so hard. Love me or hate me, both are in my favor. If you love me, it always be in your heart. If you hate me, I always be in your mind. But guess what? You're always gonna be together, always gonna be living with that person. When the mirror neuron shifting and the both two individual have part from the other inside of them, you can't just go away. Doesn't matter what you're trying to do. Their presence, their informations, their feelings, their part of them lives inside of you. You can love the person, you can like them, you can do whatever you need to do with them, but they're with you. Doesn't matter what you're trying to do. You can't get it out, their presence inside of you. The mirror neurons, they already got the informations about them, and they match it with you, simply because you and them have the same frequency. This is like internal, biological, universal, cosmic marriage. That's it. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter if you want to marry with other people and physical and blah blah blah, they're going to live with you. This will, for some people, some medical terms describe this as a duality disorder. It's got nothing to do with the duality disorder, because when a psychiatrist that happens to them, who already graduate masters in psychology, and they're like, what's going on with this? We never were taught this in school. Well, you won't. The modern psychology does not has the soul as a variable of the part of life as a human. They are based on society, they are based off relationship, religion, and so on. Specifically society. Society is unwritten laws that we have to follow. Nobody says it's a law. So we creating a law to go ahead and limitate us. Twin flames have no limits. They're divergent. So this part is that if you're the one who is the chaser, he chasing the love, he go ahead and do everything that needs to do. The other person, though, can hate it. They can be silent, they can be ignorant, they can be narcissist, they can be whatever they want to. The part is always in the mind. It doesn't matter what is going on. Until the both two individuals don't accept each other and they say, you know what, enough is enough. I had enough. I don't want to hate you. I had enough. I will begin to get the parts done. But this has been done a long time ago. Why is it right now on those years it's really coming out? Simply because we are changing from ages of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. We are doing a revolution. So the earth can shift in a better place. But in order the earth to shift, we have to evolve. And that's our evolution. We to learn how to be the truth. And in order to be learn how to be the truth, you have to overcome all the obstacles. And you have to be an example of those obstacles. But also you have to provide the vibrations out there. And those vibrations out there, it's when you show up in the real, that you overcome it, that you did it, you did your inner work, you change for the better. You're trying to make a better world. And that is the part of the twin flames. A lot of the twin flames thinks that they can just bolt out and they begins to silence. The more silent you begin, the more the soul screams inside of it. I've been talking to a lot of people. There was actually people who were runner, and those are people they have a rough time to talk to me because they have issues of admitting the part, but they feel that part of their twin inside of them that screams, "Go do your work. Go be honest. Go be a truth. Go be love. Why are you suffering? Why are you hiding?" And that can go on in years and on and on and on and on into it until the soul part, that part inside of it, you begin to listen, you begin to understand, you begin to go ahead and do it. But if you're staying in your truth as a twin flames, as a twin flame, you this part doesn't begin into it. The only thing it is you missing them. You're missing to do the energy exchange between. You're missing the love that it's actually so perfect. You missing this completion inside of it. And what happens is where the twin flames they begin to unite first in the soul. They have to solve the soul conflicts. Then they have to solve the heart conflicts, and then they have to solve the body conflicts. A lot of times the body conflicts could be the age difference. That could be the one is skinny, the other probably fat, whatever the story is of it. That it's the situation that people begin to be judged. Or, for example, the age gap. Oh my God, you are younger and look at her. She's 40 and you're 20. What are you thinking? Where is your brain? And that is a people who don't understand twin flames. And they telling you as a twin flame what to do in your life. That's what it is. You have to understand some of the situations are like this. But you overcome this. You show up the real world, what the things are. Because here the thing though, when the two souls fall in love, there is nothing else but the yearning to be close to other. The present is felt through the held hand, a voice heard in the sight of smile, even through a simple touch. So do not have calendars or clock, neither do they understand the notion of time or distance. They only know it feels right to be with one another. This is the reason why you miss someone so much where they're not around. Your soul feels their absence. It doesn't realize the separation is temporarily. Lang, leave. Yep. That's how we are. We may have a rough time, but we know that everything is temporary. We don't accept things as permanent. Things are changed. And this is why the twin flames are very powerful. We change. We do change that the average person cannot do. We do things that the average person never, for them, that it's impossible to do. We actually do it. And the soul love that it exists between us as a twin flames, and it's powerful. It's felt from others. Personal example: the people that I was at work with, my twin, they felt like she was inside of me, and they felt me inside of her. And dear, you never act like this. You're acting like a woman. And they saw her acting as a man. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? You never act like this before. They went and asked her, what is going on with you? And she didn't answer. She doesn't have an answer. Why? Because of that missing part. That is the part when you become them and they become you. That way, they have to learn how to work with you, have to unite with you, how they have to be true with you. 99% of the twin flames, they're not truth to each other. They're not ready to be a truth. They're not be ready for to be unreal love. It's not easy to be real. See, to be real, you have to take off a mask. You have to take off all your fears, all your restrictions. You have to take all your prejudgments. You have to remove a lot of stuff from you, and you to be honestly open. You have to be able to tell everything to your twin flame. Everything. Not just one thing. See, a lot of the people, when they get in a relationship, they say this and they say that, and they left out the part of that their father abandoned them, or their mother go ahead and did some very horrible things to them. Suppressions, yelling, screaming, or they left a part of how they've been hurt from previous relationships that can hurt this relationship. And this is why when the people get in a relationship over the time, things doesn't work out. Why? The soul love is missing. And this is why the twin flames, it's hard for us, but we go ahead and try to tell to the world, love someone with your soul before you're touching their body. And this is why a lot of the twin flames, they don't touch themselves. Like, they stay away from each other. Why? Because it's not the right thing yet. You have to touch his soul or her soul before you touch her body or his body. And a lot of the twin flames, we actually go ahead and we have this need for it. We have this part for it. But when it's the right time, divine time. The part of the twin flames, it's the inner fights. That inner fight of yin and yang, when it comes into, it's hard. Those are the battles of pretty much their inner, inside of it. Because this is the battles that you actually have with your wife as a normal person or husband. This is the part when you're trying to go ahead and tell something to your husband and he doesn't listen. We have this, but on a higher level as a twin flames. We have inside of it because part of their conscious right now, it's inside of us. Same as part of our conscious inside of them. And that inner fights inside of it, they become very powerful. Sometimes you can be angry, you can be mad at it, you're gonna be like, hey, I don't want to see you, you know what, I had enough of it, I'm tired of it, I don't want to deal with this. You call it quit until after 24 hours, all this becomes peace. Why? Because you are put together for a reason. That part of that opening of that consciousness transfer between one and another, it's for a reason. You to be example in the world as love. And it won't be easy. But can you handle it? If you're twin flame, you're born to do it. You can do it. I know you can do it. So a lot of the twin flames, they're very powerful. They became very powerful because I saw the workshop in Banff. There was a people who they came in all the workshops, and I see that they're right now much more different. In the beginning, they were like, "Oh my God, everything I'm crying," until right now it's like, "Yeah, I know, I'll do my inner work. Everything's gonna be okay. You know what, deal? I'll talk to you. You're in Chicago. We can get together. Not a problem. You need to talk with other people. That's fine." See, that is a completely different story than begin from before. But that inner fights are pretty much every day, and it's not easy. But if you bring the inner peace inside of you, then all the situation will begin much, much better. The longing for each other. Yep, you're gonna feel it. Are they going to feel it? Yes, they're feeling it. Pretty much all the runners, when they came out in the public and they say about this situation, they understand. But as you see it, you can't. That connection inside of it, it's made for a reason, for a divine purpose. You cannot do anything that you want to do about it. You're connected, you're together, that's it. You can't just disconnect, you can't just unplug, you can't that part exists all the time. And sometimes you may go out in a pillow and just go out and go to sleep. In the morning you wake up and the first thing you're thinking about him or thinking about her, depends of what your situation is. Sometimes you don't feel them like for days, and all of a sudden they came out and they're very powerful inside of you. It's like, I did this job, I cleaning this, I fixed this, but I don't know what to do. I'm lost. And you're like, well, you're lost because you don't work on yourself. You have a fear. Overcome your fear, step out, be your truth. And that is a huge part, to be a truth, especially when the people are married. Um, it's harsh. It's harsh you to be with another woman here or another man in here when this connection exists. You're not living on your truth. And this is why a lot of the times people ask me, Dio, but why all the twin flames, the life is destroyed? Yes, it's destroyed because it's not real. You're not real to your spouse when you are already in a relationship in the soul. Or you're not true to your husband when you have soul relationship with someone in the soul. You can't lie that part. That part, you can't hide it. You can't just go on out there and doing it. That part exists for the reasons. Because you got married with that person because society told you have to get married, you have to find a woman, and that woman has to be blah 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 blah. And they're programming you some kind of like perfect image inside of you about the woman. Or for the females, he has to be strong, powerful, he has to be someone out there that he's a good man, he has to have a lot of money. Should I keep on going? It's all programming compared to what the real love begins within the soul. Then you understand houses, all the garbage material, it's not going to matter. It's going to matter these connections inside of it. That longing part of the soul that existed, but now you're living through it. And what you need to do is working on yourself. Work on your own part, you to be your truth. Because that part doesn't depend on you. A lot of the twin flames, they fight each other because they're trying to take control over. They try to force this union. You can't force this union. This union, it's created by the divine. When you're ready, The divine is ready, they're gonna bring this back together. That's how it works. So we can show the rest of the world. It's like, yes, the love exists. The love is the right thing. Those two, they overcome everything. Those two can be example how you to be learned. Those two, you should see them. That's what the divine creates all this. Now, if the one person doesn't want to do anything with the divine, that's going to be the people you see it in the streets, that they live in grief of unexpressed love inside of them. So you can see the marks from the twin flames. That's the part of the battle. That's the part when they always exist inside of it. That little connections inside that you cannot change. It's harsh to live like this, but over the time you're getting used to it. Over the time you get much better. Over the time you get more stable. You understand more and more. You begin to navigate more as a twin flame, because you understand that part. That is the love inside of you. That is a part that you go ahead and do what you have to do, and if it's meant to be, it will be. That's the situation of the question that was asked is, what's going to happen to us? Well, that is the part of the divine, whatever orchestrated the beginning, is to go ahead and put the people in union. I'm so happy for Angie and Rob that after so many years they actually complete this part. I'm so happy that we are going it right now, and I'm gonna be facilitated together with Mario over at Rome in Italy. That part right there, it's that he is a divine masculine. At the same time, I'm a divine masculine part, as an example too. And it's going to be very interesting workshop, because we are going to be two divine masculines there that we're going to be helping out more the feminine to go on and move on in the part. 87% of the people out on my YouTube channel, those are females. And the female wants to have an answers. Compared to the male thinks that they can fix everything on their own. You can't fix everything on your own. If you are able to fix everything on your own, you're gonna be just by yourself, and you're gonna be fine by yourself. You're not gonna need a woman. You're not gonna chase a woman. You're not gonna be doing anything into it. So that is the part of we need to understanding that we need to focus on ourselves, our inner work. By focusing on yourself, when we become our truth, our love becomes our truth, and then the divine orchestra is going to do its own. When, what, and where the ego sets the times. A lot of the twin flames become impatient. A lot of the twin flames, they all want someone to be in their bed, to hug. They all want to have something. But the divine order, it's divine order. It has its own passion, it has its own time. And you need to understand and accept the part of the divine time. A lot of the twin flames, for them it's hard. But when you accept it, you're going to begin to live much better as a divine time. How your counterpart will do it, that is dependent on them, not on you. You do your own inner work. Don't worry about your counterpart. You may be focused on something else that you're working on it. They be working on something else. Maybe they have to be in karmic relationship for a few years so they can understand what real love is. So that is your whatever situation is. And I hope that I answer this question, because A lot of the people, they want more information on how to navigate this journey, how to understand this journey, how you to go ahead and live with it. There is only one thing you need to do. It's simple. Be your truth. Focus on your truth. Say what you feel, how you feel. Say your experience. Share your experience. Be out there in the open, vulnerable. See, other people cannot do this. They may laugh at you. They may be, you know, point the fingers at you. They maybe do some things at you. Guess what? Because they can't be you. They don't have the power to be their own truth. And I want to say thank you for all the twin flames that talk to me, confess to me, because this is the information that it's very helpful that I bring out there in the public. And I want to say thank you to all of you that subscribe to my channel. I want to say thank you to all the people out on the Facebook with this, because you guys keep me going. Otherwise, I would have been shut off probably by now and stay on exile to the rest of my days. And with the one thing I want to finish is learn to be in love. The part of difficulties when you learn to be love, it's the journey is not going to be so difficult. Ego creates it, the twin flame journey difficult. The soul makes it actually beautiful. Thank you so much. Be love.